by Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, more revelations. Former Defence Secretary tells the East Attacks PCOI that action was impossible owing to former government's reliance on minorities. Water off a duck's back. Former President's media unit repels statements made by the former Defence Secretary. Tragedy. Infant among the dead as a 5-story building collapses in Kandy. War on drugs. Another prominent racketeer caught in the net. All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Sunday, the 20th of September 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Nava sunlight sakura. Then dikukal pavathina sakura mal suwandin.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanaka. Now, there were more revelations from former Defence Secretary Hemasri Fernando as he yet again gave evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday spate of terror. Chief among them is the admission that taking action was impossible owing to the former government's reliance on minorities, even though there were signs of danger prior to the attacks. What's more, he said that the police faced various obstructions in performing their duty, especially due to the behavior of Eastern politicians, leading to a hopeless situation which could not be prevented by the Defence Ministry or officials. Former Defence Secretary Karunasena Hettiarachchi gave evidence before the Presidential Commission probing the Easter Sunday terror attacks for the second day yesterday. During his testimony, Hettiarachchi said that Brigadier Suresh Saleh informed him in writing about Islamic extremism when the Brigadier was the Director of Army Intelligence Directorate. He added that once Brigadier Saleh was removed from the position, he left the country to become the Defence Strategy Council of Malaysia and that there were political influences behind his removal from position. Former Defence Secretary Hettiarachchi said that political influences were exerted for the Brigadier's removal, raising questions over his loyalty since he had worked closely with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa when he was the Defence Secretary. The Commission then questioned the witness as to who exerted the said political influences. Hettiarachchi refused to reveal the identity of the said party and instead submitted the name to the Commission in writing. Meanwhile, former Defence Secretary Hemasri Fernando, who was in office when the Easter Sunday attacks struck, gave evidence before the Presidential Commission for the 4th day. During the proceedings, the state's Additional Solicitor General asked the witness whether he didn't realise the danger when information was uncovered pertaining to the murder of police officers in Vaunathiu, Lord Buddha statue vandalism in Mavanella and the discovery of explosives from Vanathavillua. Former Defence Secretary Hemasri Fernando responded, quote, "It was realised. In case of the Eastern political process, taking measures is impossible when considering how important they are to the government. The minorities had the power to exert influence on the government in line with the country's electoral system. As such, the government did many things to appease them. When the former IGP gives evidence in the future, he will divulge them. The police faced various obstructions in performing their duty, especially due to the behaviour of the Eastern politicians. Things like inability to arrest and abduction of arrestees from police stations happened. It became a situation which could not be prevented by the Defence Ministry or officials. The decision-making pertaining to that should have been done at the level of the President and the Prime Minister. However, many things were done as required by Muslim politicians." Unquote. At that point, the state's Additional Solicitor General asked the witness whether there were political influences behind the inability to arrest Zahran Hashim. Former Defence Secretary Hemasri Fernando responded saying that he thinks it did to some extent and that by then Zahran Hashim had even contested an election from a political party. The Additional Solicitor General asked the witness as to what the response of the President was when State Intelligence Services reports on Muslim youth being radicalized were brought to the attention of the Security Council. The witness responded, quote, "The President did not show any interest regarding that. He did not want a crisis involving Muslim politicians. I personally spoke with the President about those arriving in the country after undergoing ISIS training, as well as lecturers coming to the country. Some had even obtained visa from Sri Lanka," unquote. When the Additional Solicitor General asked the witness as to what the President's response to that was, the former Defence Secretary quoted the former President as saying, "These are things which have to be done carefully, cannot fall out with Muslim politicians." The Additional Solicitor General then asked the witness whether the President's attention wasn't drawn to the matter, saying that these things have to be acted upon quickly, without meandering. The witness's response was, quote, "I cannot have personal talks with him. A certain faction had driven a wedge between us. We became apart. He fell out with me. I was disappointed with him. I was in any case going to resign. Thanks to Daruna, that was expedited," unquote. When quizzed on the cause of the fallout with the President, former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando said that 5 politicians had uttered lies about him to the President, and he submitted the names of the said 5 politicians in writing to the Commission. He added, quote, "I am not prepared to claim responsibility over the Easter attacks. Had I put the information I received in the drawers and gone on New Year holiday, then I'm wrong," unquote. The Commission then directed the attention of former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando to an incident which happened when he was on duty at the Kuttaveli Navy camp. The former Defence Secretary said, quote, "I was in charge of the Kuttaveli Naval Subdivision. By then I had asked for leave 6 months ago. On the day my leave was approved, I boarded a train at 2 p.m. and came home. On the very day, at around 11 p.m, our camp came under attack. All 24 persons were killed while I was spared," unquote. Afterwards, the Commission put to the witness that what happened on the day of the Easter attacks was similar. The former Defence Secretary responded with a smile and chose to remain silent. In the meantime, the media unit of former President Maithripala Sirisena released a media communique saying that the former President rejects all the statements made by former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando against him at the Presidential Commission probing the Easter Sunday attacks. It says that the former President is prepared to reveal the true facts before the Commission if he is given an opportunity in the future. Meanwhile, the Colombo Archdiocese rejects the claims made by parliamentarian of the Samagi Jana Balawega Harin Fernando before the Commission recently, to the tune that the Catholic Church and the Cardinal knew of the attacks in advance. In a statement, the Colombo Archdiocese said not even a single priest knew of a pending attack. Now, tragedy struck in Kandy today when a 5-story building collapsed on a hotel, killing 3 persons, including an infant. Though the infant was rescued, it later transpired she did not survive, and a similar fate was shared by her parents.
A 5-story building which was located on the Sangamitha Mawatha in the area of Buwelikada in Kandy collapsed on a hotel located below the property at 5 a.m. today. At the time of the incident, 4 adults, 2 women and a couple as well as an infant had been asleep in the hotel in 2 rooms. As soon as the incident occurred, the 2 women informed the police via the emergency hotline and both were rescued with the assistance of the residents and the police.
මං ජනේලේ ගාව හිටුවේ ඇඳේ තමයි හිටියේ. මගේ ගාව යහපැත්තෙන් හිටිය මේ දුවෙක්. ඒ දුව නැන්දා කිව්වා ඊට පස්සේ එතකොට කොන්ක්‍රීට් එක කඩාගෙන වැටිලා. මගේ ෆෝන් එක හොඳ වෙලාවට ළඟ තිබුණා. ඒකට මේ කෝල් ගත්තා මේ 119 ගැහුවා. ඊට පස්සේ ටක් ගාලා පොලිසිය කට්ටිය ආවා ඇවිල්ලා ලන්වත් දාලා අපි දෙන්න නම් බාගත්තා. මං හිතපු තැන වාගේ තමයි වැහිලා නැති. අනිත් ඔක්කොම වැහිලා තිබ්බේ.
Following the rescue of the 2 women, a search operation by the 11 Division of the Sri Lanka Army commenced to rescue the infant and the parents from the debris. The infant was rescued after a few hours and was then taken to the National Hospital in Kandy. However, the infant was pronounced dead upon admission to the hospital.
උදෑසන 8:20ට පමණ අපිට මාසයක් සහ දින 18ක පමණ ගැහණු දරුවෙක් මෙම රෝහලට ඇතුළත් කරා. ඇය ඇතුළත් කරන විටත් මියගොස් සිටියා.
The army toiled to recover the bodies of the infant's parents since they were caught underneath the concrete pillars. Ultimately, their bodies were recovered at around 2:30 p.m. from the debris. The duo is identified as 35-year-old Chamila Prasad and 32-year-old Achala Ekanayaka.
මේ පස්මහල් නිවසේ එක කොන්ක්‍රීට් ස්ලැබ් එකක් සම්පූර්ණ මේගොල්ලෝගේ ශරීර මතට පැමිණලා තිබ්බා. ඉතින් ඊටම අසීරු වුණා ඒක කඩා ඉවත් කරන්න. මොකද ඒ පස්මහල් නිවසේම බර ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බ එතට. ඉතින් නමුත් අපි බාරදූර කට්ටය කරා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසිය සහ අවට අයවලුන් සමග එකතු වෙලා දැනට මලසිරු යවලා තියෙන රෝහලට ඉතුරු කටයුතු දැන් පළාත් කට්ටියත් සමග එකතු වෙලා වැඩේ කරන්නේ.
In the meantime, the National Building Research Organisation commented on the construction of the collapsed 5-story building.
සාමාන්‍ය NBR විදියට සහ මේ අනිකුත් ආයතන ගණනාවක් එකතු වෙලා ප්‍රාදේශීය සභා පළාත් පාලනයේ සියලු ආයතන එකතු වෙලා මේ 2011 ඉඳලා අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා. මේ ගොඩනැගිලි හදද්දී ඒ වගේම සංවර්ධන ව්‍යාපෘති කරද්දී ඒවට නිර්දේශ දෙනවා මේ ක්‍රමවේදයන්ට අනුව මේ ඉදිකිරීම කරන්න කියලා. මේ ඉදිකිරීමේදී භූමියේ තියෙන විද්‍යාත්මක තත්ත්වයන්ට ගැළපෙන ආකාරයට ඉදිකිරීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ. ඒ වගේම මෙතන ස්වභාවිකව ගත්තන් පස්සේ මෙතන සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අස්ථාවර භූමියක්. ඒ අස්ථාවරත්වයට යෝග්‍ය වෙන ආකාරයට සැලසුම් වීමක් මේ ගොඩනැගිලි ඉදිකිරීමේදී සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ.
We will see you shortly after this break. Stay tuned.
Enjoy a very smooth shave with the Bic Easy 2 razor. Bic Easy 2.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, more and more arrests are being made of drug racketeers, with many being caught in the net of the law enforcement authorities yesterday and today. Among them is a large-scale drug racketeer identified as Jagat and 5 other suspects who had plagued the area of Dematagoda. Now, here's an update on Sri Lanka's war on drugs and the underworld.
The Colombo Crime Division arrested the drug racketeer Mohammed Farooq, alias Barrel Ranji, from Grand Pass this morning during a special search operation that was conducted covering the Western Province. The police also discovered 12 mobile phones and 7 grams of heroin from the possession of the suspect. Furthermore, 2 other suspects were arrested with 5 grams of heroin in their possession from Grand Pass following the interrogation of Barrel Ranji. In the meantime, the Valikada police arrested 6 suspects, including large-scale drug racketeer Jagat, with 25 grams of heroin and a sum of 86,000 rupees in cash in his possession. The police also seized 3 laptops and 6 mobile phones from the possession of the suspects. Meanwhile, an accomplice of the drug racketeer Kudu Tushara was arrested from the Ratnapura town yesterday with a sum of 55,250 rupees in his possession. Elsewhere in Minuangada, a suspect was arrested by the Crime Investigation Unit of the Gampaha Division while transporting 15 grams of heroin in a vehicle. It was revealed that the arrested suspect is a 33-year-old residing in Vattala. In a separate development, the Gaul police uncovered a drug racket which was operated near 2 schools in the area of Sarentukade today. Accordingly, a suspect was arrested with 10 kilograms of the narcotic known as Babul in his possession. In the meantime, the Crime Investigation Unit of the Tangol Division seized a stash of weapons during a search operation in the area of Palapota. The seized weapons include a locally manufactured firearm, a 12-bore shotgun, and 36 cartridges of a T-56 firearm. Meanwhile, Indian police has conducted investigations pertaining to the locations visited by the Sri Lankan police constable that was arrested by the Dhanushkodi police once he arrived in India. Furthermore, he was also inquired on how he arrived in India. What's more, he was also asked from the suspect whether he has a relationship with the criminal gang leader Angoda Lokka. He, however, denied having such links. He is also the chief suspect in the discovery of 23 kilograms of heroin from Sapugaskanda recently.
Now, Biodiversity Sri Lanka successfully concluded its 5th annual technical sessions recently with the participation of over 60 individuals representing several industries at each of the sessions. Titled Communications for Conservation, the session was aimed at building capacity of the participants to maximize the usage of their mobile phones for biodiversity conservation.
The annual technical sessions of Biodiversity Sri Lanka, the national private sector-led platform working on environmental and biodiversity conservation issues with the corporate sector, was worked off in Colombo recently. The sessions are focused on 3 key issues which emerged as critical to tourism, plastics and communications industries in terms of driving forward the country's national agenda on conservation. The third and the final session was held in Colombo recently, supported by the Youth Conservation Action Network of Tamil Nadu, India and TV Derana. Focused on enabling mobile-based citizen science for conservation, the session was titled Communications for Conservation. Its keynote address was delivered virtually by founder and convener of Youth Conservation Action Network, Ramnath Chandrasekhar, and General Manager of TV Derana, K.C. Saranga. Completing its 5th year of operations in 2020, BSL has been able to raise awareness and build capacity of hundreds of persons representing the corporate sector of Sri Lanka over the years on numerous topics and subjects relating to biodiversity and environmental conservation.
The grand finale of the 9th season of the Derana Dream Star was worked off at the auditorium of the National Youth Services Council in Maharagama last evening. 3 out of participants chosen of the panel of judges for the final. The winner, however, was chosen from the SMS votes of the public. With that, the performances of the contestants Gihan Bandara, Fallon Andrea Jansen and Nuandika Senaratna took centre stage. Gihan Bandara came in 3rd place in the 9th season of Derana Dream Star, while Nuandika Senaratna had to settle for 2nd place. The evening, however, belonged to Fallon Andrea Jansen as she was voted the winner of Derana Dream Star Season 9. Now, TV Derana claimed several high-profile awards during the Raigam Telly's 2019, which was worked off last evening. The award ceremony, in its 16th consecutive year, saw the felicitations for the Best Television Documentary, Best TV Sports Program and the Best English Presenter of the Year being claimed by TV Derana.
The Raigam's Telly 2019 was worked off last evening, felicitating the year's outstanding achievements in television. This is the 16th consecutive year of the award ceremony. Raveen Kanishka, who gave life to the character Anuhas in the teledrama Devini Inima, which telecasted on TV Derana, bagged the award for the most popular teledrama actor. The award, however, was accepted by Netmi Rochelle, who co-starred in the drama on behalf of Raveen Kanishka, as he was comparing at the finale of the program Derana Dream Star. In the meantime, Shalini Tharaka was crowned the most popular actress as well as the best actress of the year. Ananda Kumara, meanwhile, won the award for the best actor of the year. In the meantime, TV Derana also claimed several high-profile awards on the night. The Raigam Telly's award for the Best Television Documentary of the Year went to the documentary Kandakadu Matata Erehiva, produced by K.C. Saranga. The accolade for the Best TV Sports Program went to Airtel Fastest Bowler, presented by Ryan Uddika and produced by Padma Kumara Karunaratna on behalf of TV Derana. Mahesh Johnny was adjudged the Best English Presenter of the Year. However, Vasanthi Nanayakara accepted the award on his behalf. Meanwhile, Diluka Prasad claimed a jury award for the level of skill and effort displayed in creating the telefilms telecast on TV Derana. Mandaka Sajid Nilpahan Pereira won the jury's appreciation award for the research work conducted in creating the theme song for the teledrama Ravana. Bhuvaneka Ranavaka, the makeup artist for the teledrama Ravana, telecast on TV Derana, won the Raigam Telly's award for the best teledrama makeup. The top award an artist can be felicitated with during his or her lifetime. The Pratibha Prabha Honorary Award was presented to Sumitra Pires on the night.
We will see you shortly. Bear with us.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa insists that the government has taken necessary measures to ensure that the small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in the country who were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic recover from the adverse effects of it. The Premier said that the government allocated 133 billion rupees for this task with the assistance of the central bank.
The SME Development Conference 2020 was held at the Magam Ruhunapura International Convention Centre in Hambantota under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
මේ ශාලාවේ මේ සම්මන්ත්‍රණය පැවැත්වීම ගැන පොද පසුගිය අවුරුදු 5 මේ සම්මන්ත්‍රණ තිව්වේ නැහැ මොන සම්මන්ත්‍රණ මේකේ වාසනාවට වී එහෙම ගබඩා කරේ නැති නිසා මේ සම්මන්ත්‍රණ ශාලාව ඔබට පාවිච්චි කරන්න හද ඉඩ තියෙනවා. කුඩා සහ මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායක අංශය අද අපේ රටේ ආර්ථිකයේ කොඳුර ආරට්‍යයි කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒක නිවැරදි. එම අංශය දිවයිනේ මුළු ව්‍යවසායක සංඛ්‍යාවෙන් 75%කින් සමාන්විතයි. ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහා බැංකුවේ සහයෝගය ඇතිව COVID-19 මගින් බලපෑමට ලක් වූ ව්‍යාපාර නගා සිටුවීම සඳහා රුපියල් බිලියන 133ක මුදලක් වෙන් කිරීමට හැකියවීම අපිට සතුටක්. අපි පසුගිය කෙටි කාලය තුළ ණය සඳහා සයනදායී පොලි අනුපාත හඳුන්වලා දෙන ණය අපකර ලබා දීම ඔස්සේ කුඩා සහ මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකයන් නැවත නගා සිටුවීමට අවශ්‍ය පියවර ගත්තා. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට විදේශීය විනිමය ලබා ගැනීම අදාළ මෙම කාර්ය සඳහා දිරිගැන්වීම රජයක් ලෙස අපි වගකීමකින් ඉටු කරන බවත් අපි පවසනවා. මේ ආයෝජකයන් නැගී එන බවට බැංකු සාක්ෂි දරනවා.
The upward trend which prevailed last week in the stock market is expected in the coming week as well, with strong buying interest from local investors. Foreign selling pressure is also expected. However, it is also predicted that it will be absorbed by the locals. Sri Lanka's stocks closed 1.12% higher last Friday, and the ASPI index closed 63.38 points up at 5,722.04. Now here's a brief report on what to expect at the Colombo Bourse during the week ahead.
With the strong upsurge in the market last week, we expect that similar trend to continue in the upcoming weeks as well, with the heavy buying interest that is there in the market. We expect the uptrend in the market to continue, especially on the local buying interest. On the foreign side, we expect a selling pressure to continue. However, it is likely to be easily absorbed by the local investors. In terms of stocks, we feel that there is going to be a slight change in the trend. We've seen mid-cap to small-cap counters heavily being active over the last couple of days. However, we feel that there's likely to be some profit-taking in those counters, and there's going to be a shift towards the more blue-chip counters, which are now significantly undervalued compared to the rest of the market. So with that, we feel that blue-chip counters are likely to be the trend in the upcoming weeks, and buying interest is likely to hover in those counters.
Now, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced strict COVID-19 restrictions in order to prevent the spread of the pandemic. As part of the measures, he said that the public will now be legally obliged to undergo self-isolation if they are identified as COVID-19 patients from the 28th of this month, and any person unwilling to comply with the new rule will have to pay a fine up to £10,000.
Despite European countries being able to bring the COVID-19 pandemic that had spread widely, resulting in many fatalities, under control, many European countries are once again seeing a resurgence in the daily number of virus cases. In the United Kingdom, the number of people who have tested positive for the coronavirus rose by 4,422, the highest daily increase since the 8th of May. As measures to prevent an outbreak of COVID-19 within the country, Premier Boris Johnson said that from the 28th of September, people will be legally obliged to self-isolate if they test positive or are told to by the National Health Service tracing program. People in England who refuse to self-isolate to stop the spread of the virus could face fines of up to £10,000 under tough new regulations to tackle a surge in cases. In the meantime, India's coronavirus case tally surged to 5.4 million as it added 92,605 new infections in the last cycle. The Health Ministry said that a total of 1,113 people died of COVID-19 in the last cycle, taking fatalities to 86,752. In other developments, the World Health Organization has endorsed a program for testing African herbal medicines as potential treatments for the coronavirus and other epidemics. According to international media, WHO experts and colleagues from two other organizations endorsed a protocol for phase 3 clinical trials of herbal medicine for COVID-19, as well as a charter and terms of reference for the establishment of a data and safety monitoring board for herbal medicine clinical trials.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.